Right, so we've already kind of hashed this part out. Identifying what your campaign is going to look like. So we have provided some different options this year for you guys. So we have a few different ways that you can give. Of course, with you guys being the campaign directors, it might be ideal for you to get with your HR team and your finance folks so that you can see which platform works best for you. Of course, our United Way online giving platform, our eWay platform, is available for you. And that's always been a really great tool when it comes to utilizing platforms and online giving when you have different locations and when you're spread out and it's really hard for you to disseminate pledge forms. Another option that we have this year is the electronic writable PDF forms. So we would be able to provide that to you guys via an email link, and you can send it out to your employees so that they can just select their options and fill out their pledge form without having to really have a whole lot of contact with you. They can just email it back over to you. You print it off and you put everything in your campaign envelope, and life as you know it can continue. We also have the traditional paper pledge forms that are available for you, the ones that you guys have been so accustomed to. Those are available for your selection as well. I do know that there is at least, I think, BB&T, you guys are run out of North Carolina, and then TD Bank, I know that you guys have a national platform as well. So I would get with your corporate offices to figure out what this pledge process is going to look like logistically, as far as how folks are going to be able to contribute and when that will happen and those types of details. We also have traditional campaign materials for you in the thought of our marketing materials. So our traditional campaign materials are going to be available. We've got them fully stocked and everything is ready to go. We have implemented an electronic packing request form for you, and you can select that link that will be emailed out to you after this training for that. And you can also contact your campaign manager at United Way, who will be able to provide that link for you as well. That packing request form is kind of like Amazon for United Way of the Midlands. So we have a list of all of the materials that we have available for you guys. And you can select the materials, the number of materials, and you're able to select if you want pickup or delivery, which will both be contactless. So we're offering some options for you guys so that we can make this as seamless as possible based upon whatever you're comfortable with. We also have electronic materials that are available to you guys through our campaign toolkit, as well as through just contact with your campaign manager. This includes the campaign brochure, the contributions and actions, and our community impact program brochures that folks like to have on hand, just in case folks have questions about different programs that we run within the United Way spectrum. And so there are steps that we'll be walking through today just to kind of go over what makes a successful campaign. This should be a refresher for most of you. I think my entire group now is about 1 to 2 years in with campaign director training. So this is just going to be, again, another refresher. And I did send out the link prior to this meeting for a fillable campaign director action guide. If you want to leaf through it, if you want to share it with those who are part of your campaign team, feel free to do so. With that being said, the first step is to recruit a team. So this is ideal for entities that have different locations. Having a campaign ambassador who represents that location or differing departments is super, super helpful for you. This way you're not stretched too thin. You also have somebody who is supporting you, who sees the individuals in their location or in their department on a day-to-day basis. So if you have multiple departments or multiple locations with lots of individuals who are employed there, recruiting a team is probably a really really safe bet. That's also true when it comes to things like being super creative, like I am, and needing to have some balance. I remember running a workplace campaign once in the past, and I'm really creative, but my coworker was super analytical and all about the numbers and the spreadsheets, and that created that balance for us. So again, recruiting a team is just so important. And then this is where I would like to put in that shameless plug that you have CEO buy-in. So whoever the head of your organization is, either locally or or corporately, we want to make sure that they are involved in the process, and they can do this by giving their public support of United Way through campaign kickoffs, through an email, or through a staff meeting leading up to your campaign. Now, the second thing that we want you to do is to set a goal. So goal setting is super, super important, right? You don't know where you're going unless you know where you've been. And when I think about different areas of growth, I wanted to highlight some of these that may be helpful while you're setting goals. I do want to let you guys know that we are continuing with the Pace Setter program. So if you are looking to become a pace setter with United Way, as far as the goal setting is concerned, you need to increase your employee giving or your participation percentage by at least 10%. And so there are a couple of different ways you can do that. That lends itself to setting multiple goals. So another goal that you can set is to increase special event funding. That is a goal that one of my campaigns that I work with has opted to use this year, because they understand that special events are the icing that's on the cake. Of course, you want people to give through payroll deduction or through their one-time gift and general contributions, but special events do lend themselves to being able to provide excitement and morale boosting when it comes to the campaign. So special events funds are always welcomed. Those are your chili cook-offs, those are your car washes, and all that stuff in between. Of course, chili cook-offs may not lend themselves to COVID-19. However, we are going to talk about a couple of virtual ideas that may be better suited for special events. You can also set a goal that's centered around leadership giving and affinity group participation. This is something that a lot of folks do want to tackle because they want their teams to be so very well connected with the United Way spectrum. And so this lends itself to having specific lunch and learns or caffeinated conversations with those who are part of the Young Leaders Society or Women in Philanthropy or Always United. So this is a great way to get folks more involved and more engaged. And that's even the case when it comes to volunteerism hours. Of course, volunteerism looks differently, and we're going to dive into that a little bit later. But having an increase in volunteerism hours or in donation drives throughout the year, that can be a goal that you can set and will be pretty easily obtained. So the next step is to determine a timeline. So timelines are super important. Again, with the Pace Setter timeline, we have a deadline of September 30th this year. We understand that there are a lot of companies and community partners who are pushing back their campaigns because of everything that's going on. So we did want to add an additional 3 weeks to that time frame. So again, the Pace Setter deadline is going to be September 30th this year. Ideally, with campaigns, we want your campaign to run anywhere between July and maybe the end of November. This does lend itself to having a lot of options when it comes to giving and getting involved, because you don't want to dive too far into the holiday season, because then you run the risk of folks who are not looking to get involved financially outside of what they're preparing for the holiday season. So determining a timeline is super important, especially when thinking about the length of time that you want your campaign to run. Campaigns typically run 2 to 3 weeks. That is ideal for us here at United Way of the Midlands. We want to make sure that you have enough time to get the message out there and to promote the campaign, but to also give folks enough time for them to be able to research United Way as a whole, but also being able to take their pledge forms back to their spouses and to also make informed decisions. Philanthropy is super important, and we want to make sure that we give people enough time to weigh on those decisions. However, once you get anywhere past a month, it kind of lingers, and then you may have the potential of suffering from donor fatigue. So we do want to be mindful of that, as well as being mindful of other philanthropic interests that your organization may have. You wouldn't want to run your United Way campaign at the very same time that you're doing a Relay for Life push. So these are things that we want to keep in mind when trying to figure out when we want to run campaigns. And then the next step, of course, is to actually plan the campaign. So campaign planning can be as fun and robust, or as, streamlined and solid as you would like it to be. Running campaigns allows, again, for morale to be boosted within the organization, for folks to learn more about United Way, our structure, and what it is that we do, and how they can get involved, whether that be financially, whether that be through volunteerism, or whether that be through general advocacy. So what does a campaign kickoff look like? You can literally kick off your campaign in 15 minutes if you needed to. We have narrowed it down and made it pretty concise. Now, that doesn't go to say just kick off your campaign in 15 minutes, even though you have technically an hour for that to happen. And I know that a lot of you guys that I've worked with in the past have leaned towards food, leaned towards kickoffs for breakfast, and things of that nature. And we want to make sure that we offer options and suggestions that will allow folks to practice safe and social distancing. And then we also want to make sure that we get the information out there for people to make an informed decision. So as you can see on the screen here, you can kick off your campaign in 15 minutes or less. We have the head of your organization who welcomes everyone to the United Way kickoff, and who lends their support of the campaign and of you as the campaign manager or the campaign director. So the United Way staff comes along and thanks, and we can still do this virtually. We have the capabilities to log into your campaign kickoffs if they are going to be virtual. And then also we will have the capabilities of having Live United storytellers come in and share their story. So we will dive into the ways that we're going to do that this year, but also know that we have that amazing campaign film that you just watched, and we also have other campaign films, other films and stories that can be shared via our YouTube library. And finally, after all of the heartwarming moments and the tugging of the strings of the heart, you as the campaign director then inform everyone of the logistics surrounding the campaign, special events that are going on, when the campaign pledge forms are due, and things of that nature. And as the campaign kicks off, you want to keep United Way in front of folks. Let it be a focus. So you can use eBlast to continue this impact going forward. That can be done through other United Way films that we have available on the YouTube page. That can also be done through the fact images that we have. So our fact images are literally pictures and graphics that may suggest that United Way of the Midlands Reading Consortium served 571 students in the last year. And that is something that's concise, and it's something that you can stick into an email to remind everybody of what cause we're championing for, and also to remind them of the logistics surrounding the campaign. And again, you can utilize these in other ways, such as newsletter inserts and other platforms that you may have internally. So we're going to talk about storytellers a little bit, because it is going to look a little different. And I do know that some of you guys have voiced that that was a concern for you. So with storytellers, we're able to provide virtual meeting storytellers as well as pre-recorded stories for your convenience. We do have a select number who can do in person, but that basically relies on the comfortability of the volunteer. And so if you are interested in having a storyteller come out, please feel free to visit uway.org/storytellers to request your storyteller for the year. Or you can utilize your campaign manager as a resource. We will be more than happy to make that connection for you. We do again ask that you have a minimum of a 10 business day notice when it comes to the storytellers. So at least at bare minimum, when you are kicking off, you want to make sure that you give us 2 full weeks in order to select a storyteller who will be ideal for your workplace. And so we're going to talk a little bit about energizing your campaign and what that looks like, because as you're planning your campaign, you want to make sure that you keep the momentum going. These are just some of the virtual special events and incentives that we were able to brainstorm and to figure out logistics for. Some of these are free, so you don't have to pay subscription fees. You can create these things on your own. You can have a virtual scavenger hunt or an around the office scavenger hunt with social distancing. You can utilize social media to your benefit. Just as an aside, I know that a couple of years ago, we started doing social media challenges at United Way for our own internal campaign. And last year, we had a challenge called Step Up, and that was our theme for the year. And y'all know I love a theme. So our theme was centered around dance. And with the Step Up Challenge, we went on to social media and we posted on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter why it's so important that we contribute to our community as a United Way staff person and as a donor. And so with the emergence of TikTok and all of these other platforms, you have social media at your disposal to help energize your campaign, but to also help promote your own community relations tactics, right? So we want to show the community the greatness of getting involved and being philanthropic, and that your organization is all about helping their fellow man. So social media is always a great tool for that. Of course, working from home passes are super efficient if your organization has already come back into the workplace. Have a work from home pass that you can use to incentivize. For instance, if anybody gives $5 a paycheck or more, they can either automatically receive a work from home pass or be entered into a drawing. Raffles are always a great way to drum up excitement, and a lot of corporations have been allowing for electronic gift cards to be utilized. You can always use a good electronic Starbucks gift card and electronic Amazon gift card. These are all great raffle prizes, and those are good if you have a budget. Now, if you don't have a budget, don't stress. There's always a way to work around these things. So I'm going to share this final video with you guys. And it talks about virtual engagement and general engagement with United Way and how to deepen that with your workplace campaign. And this is going to shed some light on our volunteerism as well as our affinity groups.
Hi, welcome to United Way of the Midlands. I'm Becky Morrison. To deepen your understanding and engagement with the work we do, we have several ways for donors and volunteers to get involved. First is by volunteering with us directly. United Way runs a tutoring program called the Midlands Reading Consortium, or MRC, which helps K through second graders read on grade level by the third grade. It's 30 minutes once a week. Join us. We also run an online volunteer center. Sign up and scroll through to see all sorts of needs from nonprofits in our communities. From delivering meals to painting rooms to mentoring, you can find a way to help out. If you're a larger group or company looking for a specialized volunteer activity, reach out to your United Way campaign contact or give me a call. We'll take care of planning something that meets your philanthropic and volunteer goals. Are you a donor of United Way? If so, thank you. We'd love for you to deepen your relationship with us and join one of our affinity groups. They offer their own volunteer opportunities, networking, and social events. If you're a retiree or soon to be, Always United is here for you. They regularly get together to socialize, volunteer, and give back. From hosting readathons for students that are participating in our summer reading camps, to providing Christmas to seniors who would go without, they are a lively group. Women in Philanthropy focuses to support the work for women and children in our community. With their annual $500 donation to United Way and their fundraiser called Power of the Purse. Women in Philanthropy provides an annual grant to nonprofits who align with their mission. This year, they are supporting Homeless No More and Able SC. These are strong women who are a powerhouse in our community. Come join them. Are you a young professional looking to dive into the community, learn a little bit more? Well, join YLS with a monthly donation of $42 if you're in your 20s or $83 if you're in your 30s. This group regularly volunteers, networks, and they have a really wonderful program called Be a Book Buddy, which provides literacy totes for our students that are tutored through MRC. There are just so many ways to get involved. To learn more about any of the affinity groups or ways to volunteer, please visit ua.org/volunteer.
So another step I want to highlight is, of course, thanking everyone, making sure that your donors and employees alike all feel thanked, not just for their contributions, but for their participation, for lending their ear as you're explaining United Way to folks, and even just for their general time surrounding the campaign. Make sure that everyone feels appreciated. There are thank you events that sometimes companies will plan so that everybody can get involved, and really feel that gratitude. Where if it's a thank you bingo, cake, a little thank you party, like a pizza party, anything like that. Those are always welcome. And as a result of that, making sure that you have a successful campaign and you've done all the steps and you've done all these great things. As you can see in that photo, check presentations are always welcome. United Way has dry erase checks. We'll come on over as your campaign manager, and maybe even the CEO. And we will have a picture taken for your own publishing and publicity, as well as what we will use on social media. So next we want to talk about reporting results. So I mentioned earlier the different types of contributions that people can make. So if you are choosing the United Way of the Midlands online giving platform, we do ask that you give us 4 to 6 weeks in advance for that platform. And if you're interested in utilizing our individual platform, please feel free to contact your campaign manager so that we can set up a demonstration for you. But if you're using that online giving platform, you are able to get your results in real time. And all we would need you to do was to email the giving report to your HR or payroll representative within your company so that they know who to take deductions from in the January 2021 payroll cycle. And if you're using paper pledge forms, and this does include the PDFs, please remember to separate and distribute copies. If you have 3-part pledge forms, white copies to United Way, yellow copies to your HR and payroll department, and then the pink copy stays with the donor. If you're having regular pledge forms, the longer ones that look like they're on legal paper, please remember to make a copy of each pledge form so that HR or payroll has access to it. If you have a spreadsheet that you want to accompany that or accompany your United Way results, those are definitely welcome. We like to have as much detail as possible. And then with the PDF forms, you would utilize it the same way. We do ask that if you're going to utilize it, we want you guys to print out the PDF pledge forms and then again put it in your campaign envelope. So once your campaign is complete, all cash and checks goes into a cash bag that will be provided for you guys. This does include your special events money. However, while you can combine that in the cash bag, please separate it in your reporting. So pull out the general one-time contributions. If Susan decides to write you guys a $25 check to United Way for the campaign, that's going to be different from Bill, who decided he wanted to give $5 for the bake sale. So please keep those amounts separate in reporting, but they can be combined in the cash bag We ask that you then seal and sign the campaign envelope and contact your campaign manager for pickup or delivery. And then once you guys are finished with the campaign, we do ask that you keep in touch. It's so, so, so important that we have year-round engagement with you guys, especially in the midst of COVID-19, where a lot of community involvement is necessary because we are our brother and sisters keepers. So again, the campaign toolkit is available for you guys, as well as videos. So all the videos that you saw today surrounding United Way, our programming and what we do, will be available on that toolkit. And then this second portion of the training today, the instructions on running your campaign, will be available for you as well. Those fact images that I mentioned, they're also available on the campaign toolkit, as well as sample letters, which are super easy if you have a CEO that just does not have the time to write a personal letter or an email. We do have those samples for you that you can just cut and paste and stick into the body of an email. Again, our YouTube library is available for you to peruse. We do have some storyteller videos that are already on there. So if you know what subject matter you want for a storyteller and you don't want to get an actual in-person virtual storyteller, feel free to utilize those videos that are up. And then, of course, on social media, United Way of the Midlands is heavy on social media, and we want to be able to give you guys shout outs while things are going on. So if y'all are doing anything virtual, or if you're doing stuff in person, please feel free to tag us at UW Midlands. Share those photos with your campaign manager so that we are able to use photos like this lovely YLS photo and other collateral, and to really give you guys the publicity that you deserve. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I know that we have about 12 minutes, but I will be available after the fact for any additional assistance that you may need. So